Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Hare Kandashvari Mata ki jai. In our last reading, we learned about how Astika, the Muni, came and diverted the Sarpa Yagna, the Sarpa Yagna that had the snakes go into it, from King Janamejaya, who was trying to appease his father's death through doing this, and that he was very upset when he had to stop it. And then Vedavyasa, who was at the yagya, tried to console him by reciting to him the Mahabharata. But at the end of that, he was still discouraged. And so now we get to hear about Vedavyasa's other Purana, the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, and the benefits of that. But first we'll hear about the story of Astika. Jai Mahamaya ki jai. We're starting at chapter 12. Sutta said, hearing these words of the king, Vedavyasa, the son of Satyavati, addressed to him before the assembly thus. Vedavyasa said, O king, I am now reciting to you a Bhagavata Devi Purana, holy, wonderful, filled with many anecdotes and leading to auspicious results. Listen. Before I made my son Sukha read this Purana, O king, I will now recite before you the highest Purana with all the secrets contained herein. I have extracted this from all the agamas. It brings in dharma, religion, artha, wealth, kama, fructification of desires, and moksha, liberation. Hearing this, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam gives all happiness and good results. At this, Janamejaya said, O Lord, whose son is this Muni Astika? Why did he come as an obstacle to my Sarpa Yagna, the sacrifice of snakes? And what object has he in preserving the snakes? O highly fortunate one, kindly describe all this in detail. After this, please recite this Srimad Devi Bhagavatam Purana also in detail to me. Vedavyasa said, O king, in former days there lived a Muni named Jaratkaru. He always remained in the path of peace, and he did not marry. Once he saw in the cave in the forest his fathers and his forefathers appeared there. They spoke to Jaratkara thus, O son, marry. We will thereby be greatly pleased if there be a son of good character born to you. We all will be freed from all troubles, and we would then be able to go to the heavens. Hearing this, Jaratkara said, O forefathers, if I get a woman with my same name, without begging or asking her to marry me, and if she be entirely true to me and obedient to me, I will marry and lead a householder's life. Thus I have spoken truly to you. Thus saying to his forefathers, Jaratkara Karu went on tour to the holy places. Now it happened so that at that very time, Kadru, the mother of snakes, cursed some of her sons, saying, May you be burnt by fire. Kadru, seeing the son's horse, first asked Vinata, The matters of this incident run as follows. At that moment, Kadru and Vinata, the two co-wives of Kasyapa, saw the horses yoked in the chariot of the sun, and thus argued with each other. Kadru, seeing the son's horse first, asked Vinata, O good one, tell me soon, what is the color of this horse? Vinata said, O auspicious one, what do you think? I said, the color of the horse is white. You also better say beforehand what it is, what color. We will then lay a wager, a challenge. Kadru said, O smiling one, I think the horse is black. Now come, let us challenge. Whoever will be defeated will become the slave of the other. Thus saying, Kadru told her sons that were obedient, "Cover by your bodies all the pores of the body of the horse, the chariot of the sun, so it may look black. Go and please do this." At this, some snakes replied, "That cannot be." Kadru then cursed them by saying, "Let you fall on the sacrificial fire of Janamejaya." Then the other snakes tried to please their mother and coiled around the back of the horse so that the horse began to look black. Kadru and Vinata, the two co-wives, went together and saw the horse. Vinata saw it black and became very sorry. Now Garuda, Vinata's son, very powerful and devourer of snakes, was passing that way, and seeing his mother very distressed, asked her, "O mother, why do you look so sorry? It seems as if you are weeping." "Aruna, the charioteer of the sun, and I myself are your two sons living. Fie to us that while we are living, you will have to suffer pains, O beautiful one. If mother suffers while the son is living, then what use is there in having such a son? So, O mother, give out the cause of your grief, and I will remove it at once." Hearing this, Vinata said, "O son, what shall I say to you of my misery? I have now become the slave of my rival wife. By some pretext she defeated me and is telling me to carry her on her back. O son, for this reason I am sorry." Hearing these words of the mother, Garuda said, "Very well, I will carry her on my shoulders wherever she wishes to go, O auspicious one. You need not be sorry. I will remove all your cares." Vedavyasa said, "Thus spoken to by Garuda, Vinata went to Kadri. At that time, the highly powerful Garuda went there also to free his mother of her slavery and carried Kadru with all her sons on his back to the other side of the ocean. When Garuda went across the ocean, Garuda spoke to Kadru, "O mother, I bow to thee. Kindly say how my mother can be freed of your slavery." Hearing this, Kadru said, "O son, if you can bring today by your sheer force nectar from the Devaloka and give it to my sons, then you will be able to free your helpless mother." When Kadru said so, the highly powerful Vinata's son, Garuda, immediately went to the abode of Indra and, fighting hard, stole away the jar of nectar and brought and gave it to Kadru and freed his mother. Excuse me. And freed his mother from Vinatu's from the slavery of Kadru. In the meantime, the snakes went for their bath, after which they would drink the nectar. Indra came back from the heavens and stole away that jar which contained the nectar, O king. Thus, by the sheer strength of arms of Garuda, Vinata was freed of her slavery. On the other hand, when the snakes returned from their bath and found that there was no jar of nectar, they began to lick the kusa grass over which the jar of nectar was kept, thinking that they would thereby get some drops of nectar which might have trickled over. And the result was that by the sharp edges of kusa grass, the tongues of all snakes were cut asunder into two. Hence, snakes have split tongues. The snake Vasaku and others whom Kadru, the mother of the snakes, cursed, went to Brahma and took his refuge and informed all of the cause of their terror, the curse of their mother, that they would be burnt in the Sarpa Yagna of Janamejaya. When Brahma spoke to them and said, "Go and give the sister of Vasuki, named Jaratkaru, in marriage to the great Muni Jaratkaru," both of the same name, "and in her womb a son named Astika will be born, and he will certainly deliver you from your difficulties." Hearing these beneficial words of Brahma, Vasuki went to the forest and requested humbly great Muni Jaratkaru to accept in marriage his own sister. When the Muni, knowing that the woman had his same name, spoke out thus, "But when your sister will act against my wishes, I will forsake her at once." Under these conditions, the Muni married her, and Vasuki, after giving his sister in marriage according to his own wishes to the Muni, returned to his abode. O tormentor of foes, then the Muni Jaratkaru became a wild and built a white hut of leaves in that great forest and began to pass his days happily in enjoyment with his wife. Once on an occasion, after he had taken his dinner, he slept and told his wife not to awaken him under any circumstances and fell asleep. The beautiful sister of Vasuki sat by his side. When the evening time came and the sun began to set, Vasuki's daughter, Jaratkaru, became afraid at the thought that the evening prayer time might not be performed by the Muni, and thought thus, "What am I to do now? My heart finds no rest if I am not to awaken him. And if I awaken him, he will forsake me at once. Now if I do not awaken him, the evening will pass away with no prayers and to no purpose. Whatever it be, if he quits me or if my death ensues, that is better than the non-observance of Dharma. For when Dharma is destroyed, hell ensues." Thus thinking, the woman awakened him, saying, "O one of good vows, it is evening time, so get up." The Muni got up in great anger and addressed his wife, "When you have disturbed my sleep, I now go away from you. You also better go to your brother's house." When the Muni said so, Vasuki's sister spoke out trembling, "O one of indomitable luster, how will the object be served for which my brother has given me in marriage with you?" The Muni then spoke firmly to his wife, Jaratkaru. "That is already within your womb," Jaratkaru then said. And Jaratkaru, then forsaken by the Muni, went to the abode of Vasuki. When her brother Vasuki asked her about her son, she said, "The Muni has forsaken me, saying that the son is already within my womb." At this, Vasuki trusted and said, "The Muni won't ever tell lies," and gave shelter to his sister. After some time, a famous young man was born. The Muni Astika was born in the womb of Jaratkaru. "O king, that Muni boy, the knower of truth, has desisted you from your sacrifice of snakes for the preservation of his mother's family. It is well and good, befitting you, that you respected the words of Muni Astika, born of Yayavara family and the cousin of Vasuki. O mighty armed, let all auspiciousness come to you. You have heard the holy Mahabharata and gave away lots of things in charities. You have worshipped innumerable Munis. But, O king, though you have done so many good things, yet your father, Pariksit, has not attained heaven, and you have not been able to sanctify your family. So, O King Janamejaya, now install a beautiful temple of the Devi, of the Divine Mother, with the highest devotion. Then all your desires will be fulfilled. The all-auspicious Devi, the giver of all desires, makes the kingdoms more stable and increases the family, if she be always worshipped with the highest devotion. O King, you better perform duly the Devi Mukha Yagna and others pleasing to the Devi, and hear the great Purana, Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, filled with accounts of the glorious deeds of the Devi. I will make you hear now that divine Devi Purana, filled with various sentiments, highly sanctifying and capable to carry one across the ocean of the world. O King, there is no other subject in this world worthy to be heard than the above Purana, and there is no other thing to do other than worshipping the Divine Mother, than the lotus feet of the Divine Mother. O King, there are certainly fortunate those who are intelligent and blessed, and whose hearts of love and devotion reign always with the Devi Bhagavatam. O illustrious scion of Bharata's family, know them to be always afflicted with troubles who do not worship in this world the great mother Mahabharata. The great mother Mahamaya. O king, who is there that will not worship her when Brahma and all the devas are always engaged in her devotional service? O king, he who hears always the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam Purana gets all his desires fulfilled. In former days, Bhagavati herself spoke this excellent Purana to Lord Vishnu. O king, your heart will be appeased and become peaceful when you hear this, and as a result of your hearing this Purana, all your ancestors will attain endless heavenly life. Thus ends the 12th chapter of the second book on the birth of Astika in the Mahapurana Srimad Devi Bhagavatam of 18,000 verses by Maharishi Veda Vyasa. Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai, Harakandashvari Mata ki jai.